Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Steve is here. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. And Spence.
Is this that computer show?
That
That's
is
the
that
one.
computer show. And Nick is here.
Oh, hello.
And I guess Mike would drop in later. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. This morning's show is brought to you by Adamas.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, and also made possible by Telestream Wirecast software. Let's dive right in. Nick, I just mentioned Telestream. I saw something in the chat yesterday that you say, damn, Wirecast. What happened before the show? I'm sorry, I couldn't get in. I was in the car. What?
No, it happened. It happened during the show.
What happened?
Oh, Wirecast froze 3 times. It was great.
Wow.
I was very impressed.
I thought it was 10 something. I figured it was before the show. Wow.
No,
So you just restarted every time?
no, I had to restart it locked up the entire computer.
Mm.
Well, I say how frustrating.
Yes, it
And
is.
I say I'm almost ready to not even do another show because I'm totally fed up.
You don't sound like it, Nick. You sound like you're on top of the world.
Oh, isn't that great? You know, I have that deceiving way about me.
Yes, right. Well, I can sympathize. I know when things don't go right, it can be really demoralizing.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Nick, why don't you go back to 5.3? Because it was working fine, right?
It's too much work. I'm not going to put that much time and effort into it. I've got other things I can do.
Huh.
It's nice to be busy, Nick.
Oh, it's just the show. The show's the show. I mean, we have a small audience, so I'm not going to put that much time into it. That's just the way it is, and unfortunately.
You are treating it the right way.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
It is what it is.
I agree.
It's not something I'm definitely not something I'm going to lose sleep over.
Yeah. There are more important things in life. I agree. But I've what, Spence?
I said there are.
Oh, really?
I need to reprioritize.
I can't even say that.
Yeah, I'm having just an issue with time the last few weeks, just not having enough of it.
I can feel that.
I think we need to decimalize time. We'll get some more of it then.
You were talking before the show also, Nick, talking about the fact that you got the first call.
Yeah. Wait for Mike to get here if he shows up.
Okay.
I want to talk because
that was
he's got some more
very
information.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a surprise. I almost didn't answer it because I was almost ready. I was
You
about
thought
to
it was a
leave.
crank call.
No, I was ready to leave.
Oh.
I was almost out the door. And I was like, hey, I pick it up. Glad I did.
Oh. And before I go to my stories, does anybody else have any news? Steve, you haven't been here in a while. Everything.
Sorry, if I took a little while to come back. Sorry, I muted the mic so I didn't
That's
interfere
okay.
or interrupt. And you know what Google's like, sometimes it's not always responsive. And I'm going, come on then, bring up that little unmute thing. Gosh darn it. No, I've not been particularly well, unfortunately, but things are getting better now, thanks.
Good. That's many times in life, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, it's you get good days, you get bad days, up days, down days, and stuff like that. But yeah, you just got to go with the flow, as they say.
And you're flowing.
We're trying to flow, yeah.
Yep.
A bit icy at times.
That was a good analogy.
So I went out yesterday and drove down to Wilson to work on Marshall's, on some of Marshall's computers in the plant. And he just moved. For somebody
Okay, so
that
hold on. Who is Marshall? What is he doing? What is
Marshall
a plant?
is an
What's going
old
on?
friend of mine, and he also used to be the big kahuna on the computers. I guess it was before 2K. It was the computers
97,
96,
98, 99.
97, 98, and maybe
Computers
even
96, okay,
before
97.
that. But yeah, he was the big kahuna, and he used to do a segment with URLs on the internet. So I think it was even earlier than 96, because it was when the internet was still fresh. And it was a big deal. Oh, here's a URL you can go to do such and such. But
Back in the Mosaic days?
back in the Mosaic days, yeah. You know what
That
we're
was a
talking about,
browser,
Nick?
wasn't it?
What, Steve?
That was a browser, wasn't it? Mosaic?
That
Back
was,
in the Cretaceous. What is it, the Pleistocene age or something like that? The last ice age.
but
Go ahead, sorry. How is Marshall, by the way?
he's fine. He's doing, he's doing good. He gave me the tour. Then he gave me the tour of his 42-foot tour coach.
Ooh.
Jeez. One of these days. But anyway, a lot of these computers did not have an antivirus on them. Running Windows 7. He's got a Windows network. And I'm surprised that the person that helped him set up the network there when he moved did not install antivirus.
They're all new machines?
They're not new machines. They're the machines that some of them are new, some of them he brought with him. But we went through them. The problem is that where he is right now, the only thing available as far as internet access is a T1. And yes, there were days when we said, T1? Wow. Well, today it's, a T1. It was taking forever to
Is that
update.
all you've got?
What's Steve?
Is that all you've got on your T1?
Yeah, I know.
Was this the deal where he had the right-of-way issues where they couldn't run the cable
No.
under the road or something like that in his old place?
No, I mean, in the old place, he had green light. Because that was in Wilson. This is actually in Elm City, which is right outside of Wilson. It's 3 miles over green light, and they can't bring it over there.
Oh boy.
But I mean, he's managing. It's okay. It's just that things like this. Normally, on day to day, it's mainly just emails and small exchanges with QuickBooks. So it's not really affecting unless you go to download or upload a big file, which he doesn't do very often. But I mean, we finished with that, and we installed a couple of cameras, and just looked at the whole thing, and it was for me, that was like an outing. I mean, I was out. I think I left here at about 10, and got back about 5:30. That's a whole day away from home. That doesn't happen often, but it was productive. Let's put it this way. Probably gonna have to go back and install some more cameras. But yeah, that's what happened here. The other thing that happened during the week, I have a customer that bought a brand new Lenovo Windows 8, 8.1, had it now for a couple of months. And that thing, he brings it in. It is full of viruses and spyware and adware. And I will work on it a few hours and be sure that everything is clean. And a week or two later, he'll bring it in again. And I keep saying, guys, one of you, I mean, a lot of these things are those programs that get loaded when you download something free, and they install other programs with them. And I'm saying somebody is using this the wrong way. You are not paying attention. And I mean, granted, Ed is not a young man, retired, and his wife is at home and she's using the computer. There's nobody else on the computer, just the two of them. And I'm trying to get the information of what do you do, so I'll explain to you what not to do. But it's like, no, we're not doing any of that stuff. And every time it is a few hours work to clean that computer. I came across one this last week. And now I can't remember the name of it, but it was something in the that would put itself as the homepage and menu. I'm thinking Trovano, Crovano, something like that. And the thing just didn't want to go away. I went into the registry and removed every instant of that word, and there were a bunch of them. I ran all the programs that I know of, was sure that it's clean, rebooted, and there it is.
What was the name again?
I can't I can't remember, something Vano at the end of it. Trovano, Corvano. I don't know. It's probably on the desk, still written somewhere. It's a new one that is hitting now, and it's just it was hell. And again, this time the thing that got it was Hitman Pro. It seems like that every time I give up on a program because another one is doing the job, something else comes up that says, "Hey, don't forget about me. I'm still good here." So Hitman Pro did get it, but it's the only one that got it. And I'm inching kind of toward believing that Security Essentials is not as good as they say it is, or is not as good as I like to think that it is.
Or not as good as it once was.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if something comes back.
In Windows 8, it's no longer Security Essentials. It's back to being Windows Defender.
Yeah, but I mean, Windows Defender is what Security Essentials kind of is.
Well, became,
It's
yeah. It's
the
still in the
base,
Windows
yeah.
7 world, it is.
But what I did is I activated his um, premium trial on Malwarebytes, which sits in the background and monitors. And I also activated the monitoring on CCleaner. I told him it's going to be slower, and if he sees his homepage changes or if he sees any of these programs telling him something, he needs to call me and tell me what it says. So far, it's been almost a week, 5 days, and I didn't hear a thing. So maybe things are okay. I hope it's not a situation where Ed is thinking, "Oh, I'm ashamed to call Amnon and tell him that something is wrong." So we'll see. But yeah, it's in some cases, in most cases, I mean, people bring the computer and within 15, 30 minutes, things are clean and they can take it and go away. It was some, but it's always, and it may be because he's letting it sit there and it is just entrenching itself deeper and deeper and deeper in the operating system. Not having the computer here, I don't know. I kept it here for about 3 days and connected, and I would use it on the bench to go surf and all that, and everything was fine. So that was my biggest brush with stuff today. And Gene is saying, good morning, Andrew. And Gene is saying, I use CCleaner and Malwarebytes. Yep.
I had an interesting issue this week where I use a external backup drive for my Mac to do Time Machine.
Yeah.
And I just, every so often I plug it in and I let it run and it does backups, and I don't keep it connected all the time because it's not convenient to do that. But the caddy that I use for the drive is a, let's see, Sabrent.
It's
Remember
what?
that brand, Amnon? Sabrent, Sabrent. You see it a lot at Tiger Direct.
Okay.
But it's an external USB 3.0 case.
Okay.
And it comes with its own, it's a proprietary cable, a lot of them are, but it's got a interesting connector on the device side, which is definitely a proprietary connector, and then just a regular USB 3.0 connector. You can tell it's 3.0 because it's got the plastic inside is blue. Well, I had been using it, working just fine, and go to plug it in. It worked, it's running, and I moved the laptop and the connector slipped out partway. Tried to push it back in again, it would not go all the way in. I said, well, that's weird. What's wrong with this? So I'm looking at it. Can't see any evidence of anything wrong. The pins all line up. There's nothing bent. So finally, I couldn't get it to work. Could not get it to insert all the way. So I went upstairs and I swapped out into a different caddy and put a different USB 2.0 connector. Now it worked fine. So I said, well, let me try this on other USB connections. And sure enough, it will not fit. It will not go all the way in. It goes in about 2/3 of the way. So what could cause, well, besides a cheap connector, what could cause a USB, I guess this is a USB-A connector, what could cause it to just fail, a USB 3.0 connector to just fail? So I'm still trying to figure this out.
Is there no piece of plastic broken inside?
No, that's what I'm saying. I looked at it with a magnifying glass. I'm shining a light in there. I said, I don't see anything wrong with this. None of the pins are too high. None of the pins are too low. There's nothing. I don't want to tear it apart, but it was just frustrating.
Might as well tear it apart because that's how you learn.
Yeah, true. But I need to try it. I actually have a USB 3.0 hub, and that's one thing I have not plugged it into. I plugged it into USB 3.0 on a couple, or 2.0 on a couple other computers, and in a USB 2.0 hub. But I've not
let me tell you
plugged it into
something.
another. But it should be backward compatible. It
is
worked.
backwards. It is backwards compatible.
It is.
I saw one that the pin, there was a bent pin, but you couldn't tell that it was bent other than really looking real close at it and see that one looked a little bit different than the others, just a tad difference. And when you realize that and you looked at it, you know how the pins come at you? They slide back and rise a little bit at the very end, and it's still shiny like the rest of them, but it is stopping it from going in.
How does this song go? One of these pins is not
doesn't
Latvia?
belong there. Yeah. So
Well, I'm looking at it now. I need a better. Hang on.
you need to have really bright light to do that.
Well, that's,
yeah.
I was going to say, pardon my video because it's going to go to hell because I've got a really good.
That's okay. Go
light
ahead
right
and
here.
do it.
I'm going to look at this thing with my loop here and see if I can tell.
Yeah, a
anything's
lot
going
of
on.
people have this problem with, okay, my mouse stopped working and it doesn't feel right in the socket, and it's always a bent pin. Your best bet is also, if a plug doesn't feel good going in and another one is okay, don't plug this particular one. Don't try to force. The best thing is don't plug it into another, because you can mess up the socket, the USB socket, and you really don't want to do that.
Well, what I can see by looking in there closely now is that they're actually behind the four position, the USB 2.0. There are four positions in the front, the flat connectors.
Right.
USB 5 has, or USB 3 has 5 pins behind that, whereas USB 2.0 has 4 pins.
4, yeah.
So I can see the center pin is bent.
Okay.
The center of the 5 pins in the back.
Yeah.
It's bent.
Now, is it bent in a way that you can insert a little hook like a pin?
It's hard to say right now, but that's what it is. One of them, 4 of them are in position, and one of them is like pushed back.
Yep.
A bit.
That's it. It's not very apparent when you look at it just lightly. You really have to look close at each and every one. But what I normally do is, and I will take a pin, just a straight pin, and bend the end of it with a needle nose and real sharp 90. And
yeah, I'll give it a try. I just need to set it up.
Yeah.
I have a little tiny
but you
vise
see,
here. I can put
that
it in
what
so I can get
what
close
happens now when if you were not technical and you would try to take it and plug it in hard, you would mess up the computer side or the hub
right.
side.
No, I understand. I was very careful.
Yeah.
I knew that something wasn't right. So,
Good.
well, I think it's really just a matter of probably cheap hardware. So,
I think it's a cheap plug. I got a similar problem with USB 3 portable drive that I bought, an enclosure. It's got the same really flat connector like you've got on the drive side. And you've got to be really careful when you plug those in, because the way that the socket's mounted on the circuit board, it's mounted right on the very edge of the circuit board. So if you don't plug it in and out completely squarely, if you understand what I mean, if you sort of put a slight twist to it, you can snap the connector off on the motherboard, which makes it then useless. You've got to really make sure it's nice and straight when you plug it in, and you can't put too much force on it because there's barely any solder holding it to the circuit board. It's ridiculous design.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'll attempt this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix it, but I mean, it's not an expensive enclosure, and I've already moved it to another enclosure, so it's not a big deal. But
luckily, USB 3 enclosures are pretty cheap now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And I actually have the hardware here to replace a connectors. I actually bought this to repair an Apple charging cable, and was successful in doing that. I bought the hardware online and used it to fix a connector that cracked. But you know what? Doing this tiny work, I just don't want to do it anymore. I used to sit there and be so patient. Like I fixed a USB thumb drive one time broke. Somebody left it in their laptop and put it down and literally bent it at a 90-degree angle and broke off the solder connections. And I was able to get that to work long enough to recover the data from the drive and then just toss it at the end. But
Isn't that
you
one
know,
of the joys of being old, though, or getting old? You think, oh, I can't be, it's far too fiddly. I can't be doing it with it anymore.
and I thought being pre-retired was supposed to mean you had more time.
Yeah, more time, but you can't be bothered to do
I
anything.
don't have time. I have less time. You know what it is? I'm not working in an office all day at home anymore. I'm out of the house, so I just don't have the time. Used to
And
be
your
I could take
eyesight's
a
failing.
little break and work on something.
Somebody was asked where Mike is, and I'm wondering where he is now, but it brought something else. Did anybody, Spence, is that you echoing? I don't know. Are your speakers loud?
Not
I don't know.
particularly. I'll
It seems
lower
like
it a little bit. I had all kinds of issues with the computer this morning. Sound was one of them.
I keep hearing myself kind of echoing somewhere. But anyway, did anybody in the chat or here get a tweet about the show? I mean, because Mike normally tweets before the show. Did anybody get a tweet? Because if not, I'll go ahead and do it.
Well, if he's not here, I would imagine he didn't tweet.
No, he does. He does it early. That's what I was wondering if somebody did. So we'll see. Okay, well then I'll do it. Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead. Where are we going?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna tweet so you talk.
Can we go on a summer holiday, please? I'm fed up with this cold
Yes,
weather.
you can.
Thank you. That's really kind.
You need a bus?
A car will do. A wheelbarrow will do at this stage.
An old double decker?
Yep, that'll do. Thanks. I'll have the upstairs. Actually, no,
Yep.
I can't have the upstairs. I'm too tall.
So you ride in the upstairs on the open double decker and you hit your head on the
On the
bridge-
passing
bridge
buildings,
overpass?
yes. No, we used to have double deckers when I was a lad, but the upstairs, because we got a very low railway bridge in the town, we had to have an adjusted double decker bus for our area, which was about a foot shorter than all the others,
Ooh.
so that it would go under the bridge okay. But of course, with me being over 2 meters tall, I always nearly had to double up to get on the upstairs. Fold myself in half.
I've had that experience too. Probably not as severe. I'm only 6'4".
Yeah, it has its uses and advantages as well as disadvantages.
It's interesting when you walk in a crowd. I mean, there are a lot more taller people now that I notice as I get older than when I was younger. But I went on a trip to Japan and Korea one time, and I remember walking through the subway, and I was a whole foot and a half taller than everybody else in the crowd.
Mm.
It's like just standing on a chair, looking
Yeah,
through the crowd. So it was
walking
interesting.
through on stilts. I imagine you got pointed at by the children going, look, a giant.
Oh, I did. You walk into the hotel and the get out of the elevator and the doorways, like the fire doors that would close, would be just about 6 feet high. So I'd have to duck through all the doorways but interesting.
Not easy to hide in a crowd.
Hit your head a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luckily, doors are 6'6", so I just automatically duck my head a little bit as I go through, so I don't bang my head on them. But some of the old cottages and things we have over here, where the doors, as you say, are 6 foot high. If you're not paying attention, you can smack your nose.
I've picked up a few IT jobs in the last week or so, which I'm glad to get them, but I just, with all the other stuff I'm doing, I'm just having a hard time fitting it in. But a couple of them are, one is repairing a laptop screen that cracked, and a few other ones are just adding memory and upgrading. But it's nice to be back to it again. I spent the last 3 weeks doing home repairs. Good stuff. I mean, it's fun. You walk away, you're done. You fix something. You don't have to worry about, are they going to call me back because this program won't load or the spyware comes back. You basically fix it and you're done. So it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it is a good sense of productivity when you're able to fix something and think, yeah, I've got that working. You get something that's duff and broken or not working right. Makes you feel like you're actually useful for a change.
Yeah, yesterday I finished a job where brand new house, beautiful new 3,000 plus square feet house, and the owners had a gas range in the kitchen, and there was no external vent to the outside. It just they had a microwave that had one of those recirculating fans in it, and every time they cook on the stove, the smoke alarm would go off, and it was just, they wanted a way to exhaust the cooking air, basically. And so I went in there, and I'm looking outside the house, and I see a vent right at about the spot that I would expect to see it. Well, they put the vent in, they buried it in the floor between the downstairs and the upstairs, but just never bothered to hook it up. But of course, it's in the ceiling, so I wasn't going to tear the ceiling open, not knowing what's going on. So I had to run a whole new vent, create something custom, and cut a hole through the side of the house and mount this thing. But they're real happy. They want me to come back and do a bunch of other stuff for them.
Well, that's it now. So you've made them aware that you're a useful chap to have. They're going to not throw your number away.
Yeah, it's good.
Merle says, "Hey, this kind of sounds like Rick's house."
Yeah, here we go.
Well,
let's talk about what your calls, please.
Yeah, give us a call. It's we talk about most things here.
Somebody posted a link. Let's see, what was it, to a laptop at Best Buy. I guess it was Tim.
Yeah.
Nice looking laptop for $299.
Yeah, so I guess we can go into this a little bit. I can hear everybody on this. For the longest time now, I've been looking for just a web browsing computer to use at home when I don't want to be sitting up here in front of the desktop. And I've got two laptops priced both at $299. One is a Core i3 with 6 gigs of RAM, and the other one is a AMD A6 with 4 gigs of RAM. And the A6 performs better with the A6 performs better with performs a little bit better with graphics than the i3 does. So I'm not really sure. Sure.
Probably because the A6 has, if they're using their own AMD
the
graphics
card,
it's tightly integrated.
So I'm torn on what to do. I mean, one's got 6 gigs of RAM, the i3, and one's got 4, but the one's got better video memory.
And what brand is the i3?
It's a Toshiba, so it's not a total piece of junk.
I would, if they were the same price, all things being equal, I'd probably go with the Lenovo.
You think so? You think it's a better build?
My experience with Lenovo's is mainly business machines,
mm-hmm.
the T series. So this is what is it? I saw a G50. So this is more of a consumer.
Okay.
But it's got good ratings. In fact,
definitely.
I have a brand. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but I have a Lenovo docking station that is sitting here collecting dust since I retired from that job, and I had to give my I think it was a T52 back. Great machine, i5. What a screamer! And I just have this wonderful docking station that I'm not using, so I was looking to see if I could find a off-lease T-series that I could get. My personal machine that I have all my business stuff on and correspondence and all the documents is a Dell dual core. Runs quite well. I mean, I upgraded the memory and it works just fine, but I'd like to get something a little newer.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to end up going with this A6. And it's not bad for $299.
No, it's not at all. Open box from 269.
Yeah, I'd have to see what my local Best Buy has.
Because the lowest of the low, Dan, is maybe 229, $230.
Yeah, that's what I see in like
Yeah,
Staples,
for an
but that stuff
E1,
is.
typically an E1 processor, you might pay a little more to get the Pentium.
It's either an E1 Celeron or Pentium that they've got at that 229 mark.
Which is both a dual cores.
Yeah.
So I have an E1 HP that works quite well, and it's just for web browsing and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking to, do a little. I do a lot of the web work, so, having an FTP, like I've got the Chromebook now, but having an FTP client is nice. Having, a text editor, or like a Notepad++ or something like that is nice. Some type of other IDE is nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting to see how they strip cost out of these low end.
Yeah, well, the one thing I
machines.
think they need to get rid of, they can get rid of that DVD drive. That would be, I have no use for that thing.
No, I think that they probably have a lot of these manufacturing lines set up and have goods available at such low cost that it really doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
to strip them
not
out.
to not include it.
It would only not include it if they really tried to make an ultrabook, something that was really thin, where they didn't have real estate space. I think the cost of the product is so low that they can include it.
And now Merle is saying get an iPad. Yeah, no, I've got a Chromebook, but I need Windows to run Photoshop and FileZilla and Notepad++ and Atom and stuff like that. Putty.
Where's Amnon? Because it looks like the stream just died.
I'm here and I am looking why JustCast is messing up.
I just
Well,
clicked the little refresh button and it worked.
Why is it showing microphone mute? That's weird.
Because Amnon's got his mouse over it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's
I
true.
noticed that
I didn't
on
realize,
Google Talk this morning, my lower third didn't load, even though it's checked to load. Toolbox is flaky.
Interesting.
Strange. Even though I cycled it on and off several times, it still
Let's
isn't.
see. So then Tim is saying for Photoshop you need RAM. Go with the 6 gigs. Now that's good, but the Intel HD graphics are awful. I was looking at these two CPUs side by side, and it's something like the AMD is like almost double the graphics performance, and for whatever reason Staples website's screwing up right now. Their flyer says it's $299. You go to the website and it's $449. Hopefully they're just having a problem with that, or their entire flyer is wrong.
Well, the Lenovo can be expanded to 8 gig.
Yeah.
So.
See, the other problem is here. I don't want to invest a lot of money into this because it's a cheap laptop. If I'm going to invest with an SSD and RAM, $150 into this laptop, why not go out and spend $400 or $500?
Yep. Well,
it seems like the best deal every week is going to be $299 for a budget machine. I've been looking for 3 weeks now, or whatever, and it's the same thing.
Could be that the Intel has got shared video memory. This says integrated, doesn't say that it's independent.
Which one?
The Lenovo says integrated, so I can't. It doesn't say whether it's the. It could be
that it's an AMD Radeon R4.
Yeah, so it should be separate memory. Maybe that's why it runs.
It says usually built into the motherboard. Yeah. No, the video memory is integrated.
Well,
okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn.
Buy them both.
There you
Get
go.
both. It's simple.
Just get a credit card and buy both of them.
Buy them both.
Yeah, why not?
No worries.
You're just helping the economy, so why not?
Of course. Of course.
If you can upgrade the RAM on the 4 gig one, then that may be a.
Yeah, the problem is memory's through the roof right now.
Yeah, it's not cheap, is it?
And the first thing I'd probably do with this machine would be get an SSD, because that'll right off the bat speed this thing up.
Yeah, what happened to memory prices? I noticed that too. They've
They are
really
through the
gone.
roof right now.
Where was the? Did they have uh, a
There was a
fire
fire.
somewhere?
I think there was like a while ago.
Yeah,
8
maybe
gigs of
it's
this.
supply issue
It,
catching up.
8 gigs of this Kingston RAM that will work with this computer is $70 plus an SSD. Um,
What speed memory is it?
16.
It's probably DDR3, but I'm not
Oh
sure
yeah, I'm
what.
sorry. It's, yeah, DDR3L, whatever.
It's
I
not
thought you
going
were
to be
talking about the
four.
I thought you were talking about the frequency.
No. I mean, is it PC3 what?
I
Have to
said
look.
it's a DDR3.
Yeah, I know, but it's DDR.
It could be. Yeah, it's in a range of
Uh,
speed.
on the Staples website, it says DDR3L, or the Best Buy website.
I don't know. I mean, you are looking at stuff like this. I mean, I just upgraded a laptop from 4 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
I had to replace both of them, and it was PC3 60
2800.
PC3 6400. I can't remember now. And I got it off of eBay, and for 8 gig, it was something like $38.
Yeah, well, that's the older memory though.
It wasn't DDR4 or anything like
Yeah,
that.
but that PC3, you said it was 64. I think this is so I think this is 128. I'm not sure though.
8400 something. I can't remember. Something like, I mean, it was a quad core i7. It was not new memory though.
Yeah, it was used.
Yeah, but it's fine. You know, this is like saying it's a used fork.
Well, it's fine. Yeah, no, I agree. But I'd rather buy new memory than used memory off eBay. Why are they selling the memory? Did they have a problem with it? Did they get rid of the laptop? I mean,
People get. I mean, these are dealers, and they have a bunch of them. It's not like somebody's just selling their own memory.
yeah.
And I don't know. I always had good luck with buying memory on eBay.
No, you have you have a different trust in people than I do.
Never had to return anything, so that was good too.
Yeah, well, you're lucky for that.
Yeah, well, I guess I am lucky. Yeah, you can.
Well, you're lucky, and
different-
you have a different trust in people that people are legitimate. I don't see a reason why somebody wouldn't find a bad, 4 gig stick in their laptop, run a mem test on it, figure out there's a problem, and throw it up on eBay, being like, no, but this person will never know.
And next, something else to look at would be the battery that comes with them. See which one has the higher ampere
Yeah.
rating for time.
A good
Sometimes
point.
they'll come with just a minimal
Mm-hmm.
2.5, 3 hour battery or something like that.
It just seems like, let's see, this is a 22. Let's see what this other one is.
Up to 5 hours if you don't use the computer.
Yeah, if it's in sleep, it'll die with
Don't
it.
switch it on.
I pretty much keep everything plugged in all the time since I listened to that podcast about battery technology, where they say that there's only so many cycles that a battery can go through before it will not charge anymore. And every time you disconnect it from the charger, you are using part of those cycles. Say if it'll recharge 1,000 times, and you run it down 25% each time after 4 of those, you've used one of those 1,000 cycles. So if you keep it plugged in, there's no damage that will be done. It just keeps the battery topped off at the top, and then you're not using one of those cycles.
Let's see. Here's a Newegg, or here's an eBay deal. This is an Asus Core i3, 6 gigs of memory. for $319. Wow, that's not a bad deal either.
And Asus has good motherboards.
Yeah. This is let's see, an i3. Who sold in the last hour? Who's selling this? Oh, Newegg's selling it. Okay. So this is an i3 with 6 gigs of memory. How thick is it?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Gene.
Hey, Gene. What's up?
Am I on?
Yes.
Okay. I thought maybe I could get some hints this morning on a troubleshooting problem that I got.
Okay.
I got an iPhone 6, and I use Amazon Prime, and I got an email from Amazon Prime and said, "You're not taking advantage of instant video and movies that we've got and TV shows and things like that. You really ought to take advantage of it. They're all free." And so I thought, well, that's a good idea. So I downloaded the app, and then I went out and got a Apple TV component to hook up to my TV so I could AirDrop between my iPhone and the TV, widescreen TV, and watch the movies there. Everything works fine. They're both hooked up to the same network, or when I connect, I'm connecting to the same network. But occasionally, it will stop. And occasionally, I'll lose the connection. And what I have to do sometimes is just restart it and then move back to where I left off. And so I've never been able to watch a movie completely without it dropping or stopping and having me to reload or something like that. What do you think's going on?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about I don't know anything about the iPhone. Anybody else?
I had a hard time understanding Gene's question, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things. The phone could be going to sleep. It could be the Wi-Fi network. It could be the Apple TV.
So the issue is what again?
I'm connecting to my TV with my iPhone 6.
How?
And TV has installed on it.
Wait. Nick, wait a second. Nick is asking how.
Oh, it's wireless.
But through what? You just...
A setting called AirDrop. I do it through AirDrop.
Okay, but what device? So the TV has AirDrop built in?
Yeah.
What type of TV is this?
It's an LG.
Okay, I didn't know any of these TVs had iOS AirDrop built in. You don't have a device hooked to it?
Well, maybe the AirDrop is in the Apple TV box that I bought.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
okay.
Apple TV, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you see the little square box with the up arrow, and you click on that to send it to the Apple TV, and it's obviously, if you see that logo, that icon, it means the Apple TV is seen by the.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have no trouble. Yes, Spence, I have no trouble connecting. I mean, I do the right things and I can get connected. I have to basically turn it on, and then I have to make sure that I got my settings correct on my iPad, and then I just basically go to the Apple TV and I hit a button that basically puts the image that's on my iPhone on the screen, and I open up instant video and I start playing the movie. And it works fine. And all of a sudden, the signal will drop. Almost like, it's like buffering or something like that. But it's worse than that. It just drops and stops. And I've got to go in and mess with the settings a little bit and get it restarted. And I'm just wondering why it drops. Like I'm losing that signal. And I just thought it's got something to do with...
What is the vintage of your Wi-Fi?
On the iPhone?
Yeah, just your Wi-Fi network. How your wireless router? What is the vintage of it? How old is it?
It's a Netgear. I think you recommended it at the time I buy it. It's probably about 3-4 years old now.
It's the N. It's that I forget the model number, but it's an N router.
Yeah,
I have one buried in my Entertainment Center. That's what I use. Yeah, I connect fine with the iPhone and iPad to Apple TV using that router. But
Why are you
I-
trying? Why are you
Yeah.
airdropping the
Got it.
instant video?
well,
Why
that's the technology that's used. It's called AirPlay, actually.
No, but why not just use the Amazon Instant Video app on the Apple TV? Don't they
That's
have-
true.
do
Well,
they have-
what videos are you sending from your phone?
Excuse me?
What video are you sending from your phone? Are you watching a service or are you playing a video that's on the phone itself?
You go to Amazon Instant Video, and they have TV shows you can watch, and they have movies, and
so
you
Nick-
can browse. So they got a whole litany of the stuff that I can watch.
Well, Amazon isn't available on Apple TV.
Oh, it's not.
No. That's why.
Not a surprise. Why? Why would?
Yeah,
Why would it be?
It's
Yeah,
not
but
available.
why is
You
it?
can-
Why is
Netflix
his?
is there, but you can't get Amazon.
Why is the signal breaking?
knows?
That's the only problem I got is the signal's breaking. That's the
Well, how
only
long?
problem.
How
right?
long?
But-
How long is it before the signal breaks?
Sometimes it's 15, 20 minutes. Like I'm watching a movie, let's say it's about an hour or 2 hours long, and sometimes it usually takes about 15, 20 minutes before it'll stop.
Well, then maybe something is not configured out. Or maybe something is getting dropped on the phone. Is the phone going to sleep, or maybe there's a power saving mode on the phone that something is timing out after 15 or 20 minutes.
I made sure that the phone didn't do that. As a matter of fact, when I do it, I actually plug the phone in, so I won't lose, use a lot of power. So I actually plug it in.
Did you say you
Yeah.
have an iPad also?
No, I don't have an iPad, just the iPhone
And it
6.
works, how does it work with the iPad?
I don't know. I don't have an iPad.
Oh, I thought you said you had one. Okay.
No.
'Cause that's what I use. I don't use my phone. I use an iPad. So when I push the video.
The phone, because when it,
Check
when
to
it
make sure you
stops,
don't
the
have
movie-
an update on the Apple TV. Go to the settings and make sure that there's no update available.
yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then
Go in
I'm
there and
thinking
just say
about
check
finding a
for
different router.
updates. Check for updates. It'll come back and tell you if there isn't an update. Well, how old
Yeah.
is the Apple TV?
Oh, that's only a couple of weeks old.
Yeah, mine is an original, one of the original ones, and it still works good.
Yeah.
do you see what Brent just put down in the chat?
And sometimes it drops on the TV, but the movie's still playing on the iPhone. So I lose signal. I think I'm getting a break in the signal. I think is what's going.
Gene, Tim in the chat is saying try to reset the network setting in the phone and see if that works.
Yeah. Okay. I wrote that down, so I'll try that.
Go to your wireless settings. You say forget network and then reestablish the connection.
Yeah. Okay.
Try that.
The other thing, maybe, if you're just going to watch Amazon Instant Video, an older generation Roku might not be a bad idea to look at because there's an app for it.
Yeah, that's
Do you know
what
the name of the app?
I have the Amazon and Netflix both running on a Roku on my television downstairs. I have the Apple TV on the one upstairs.
Yeah, that seems like it might be the way to go if you're just looking for Amazon.
Because we do.
Yeah.
My TV or my Blu-ray player has Amazon built in, but the app is horrible.
And then you won't have to worry about having to tether your phone to the TV while you're watching. You can just use the Roku to watch it.
Yep.
Might be a better solution.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, there's a number of things I can look at, then. That's good, guys. Thank you.
Sure, Gene.
I think it's
right.
that unlicensed particle accelerator you have in your basement.
Yeah.
Steve, were you trying to say something earlier? Because I saw your.
No. Oh, Steve?
It's okay.
Wait a second, Steve.
Everybody covered what I was going to say anyway, so it's
Oh.
fine.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. I'm going. Take care.
Take care, Gene.
Bye,
Yeah,
Jim.
I'll be on chat. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye. 919-573
What?
518-9773.
Jesus.
It's when I'm thinking Time Warner, I'm thinking about TW Telecom, and that's the number that sticks in my head. 919-518-9773. Good catch.
So
Good
Minor
catch.
LA is saying the Roku freezes a lot. For what Roku are you on?
Well, I thought you guys already said and discussed this, that there were problems with some of the Rokus. Mike said that one of his, I think Roku 2,
Yeah.
had a lot of
he had
freeze-
an awful time with his Roku too.
Yeah.
And I've got a 3 and a 2. And they both work fine. I mean, I don't really use them too much, but when I do, they work fine.
I have a.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to think
yeah,
of what
that's
I have the first one that was 1080.
That's the 2,
Yeah.
I think.
So mine's still working good.
this is Minor LA, so yeah, it's Mike's. It's Roku 2.
Yeah, so I wonder. The Roku 2 is older. I would buy. Yeah, you would buy the 3 now, but the 3 wasn't available. Until somewhat recently.
And maybe we'll get something from Minor LA. I mean, I was just trying to send Mike a Skype thing, and he's not on any. He's off air.
Maybe he's got something going on.
Well, but I mean, if Minor LA is talking, that means that the internet is up.
I see. Maybe he's doing something.
Oh,
We have a good. Yeah, no, the good connection. It pauses during the game. Yeah, no, that's probably just the and in your case, it's probably just the NHL app, not They probably built it for the Roku 3, and now it's it doesn't work as well on the Roku 2 and the other ones. Maybe.
Fire. What is that? What's Fire TV?
Amazon's.
Amazon's player. Not very well received.
You don't think it's well received?
No, I mean it's not selling well.
Oh.
It might be an excellent product. It's just that it's not capturing the market that they'd hoped.
Yeah.
So it's
Brian Aldridge has one, and he says he loves it.
Is it something like the Chromecast?
No, it's like a Roku.
I think the part of the problem is just there's so many devices out there that do this now.
Yeah.
Although I think Netgear had one for a while that just never went anywhere. It was based on someone else's technology. I don't remember whose it was. But there's Chromecast. I don't know where that's going. Whether that's
Nowhere.
Yeah. So we tried. We tried, but they couldn't do it.
I disagree. I don't even think they tried, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that was just
Well,
one of
once
their
somebody gets a
get to
Roku
market
and Apple
devices.
TV out there, once they got those out there, it was a catch-up deal. Nobody was going to come up with anything that was that innovative.
So, what do you guys have to say about the fact that a number of news reports are coming out? The Radio Shack is ready to file for bankruptcy.
It's true.
The stock
Doesn't
price is
surprise me.
tanked on Wall Street. There are conflicting reports that they are seeking more credit and they may be bought for their assets.
Why would they want more credit?
To get money to stay in business. I have no
Well, I
idea.
understand, but they're not going to. I mean, why would you go? There's no reason I would go into a Radio Shack today.
There
I
was a
have a-
consortium that offered them about 500 million a couple of months ago, which they turned down.
I have a few specific things that I would go to Radio Shack for, and it would just be components that I could get, that I know I could get from them that day, and that's the only reason I go there. I would not buy any consumer product there. I would not.
I mean, they've got no. I can't think of anything where it's like, wow, Radio Shack has that. I need to go buy it there. They don't have anything.
Well, they've
They
tried to
try-
rebrand themselves as a consumer.
Yeah, well,
They've lost their way in the marketplace. They haven't kept up to date with new technology at competitive prices. That's the problem. They can't compete with online.
I'm trying to
Oh, they
think.
do have cables, Andrew. I agree with that, but so do Walmart and Target now.
Katie, that's right. Katie needed a mini display to DVI converter for her new computer. And she asked me, and I said, try like Office Depot or uh, um, Tiger Direct or whatever. She said, what about Radio Shack? I said, nah, Radio Shack is not going to have it. Well, guess what? Radio Shack was the only one that had it. That was about 2 weeks ago. I was blown. I said, really?
No, I mean I'm not saying there's no use for
So
Radio
it's
Shack, but for a majority of the things, it just seems like I can't think of and now of course there's times I have gone to Radio Shack to get adapters, but it's so far and few in between.
I mean, Radio Shack was a magnet for uh, people that were in the hobby of radio and electronics, because you could. I don't know where can you go today to buy resistors, capacitors,
Well, I mean,
transistors.
there's local stores depending on where you. I guarantee you, there's stores in Raleigh.
I don't
Very
know.
specialized, though. I
Yeah,
remember
they're specialized, of course.
even Radio Shack, you go in and their stock is usually pretty flaky. They might have a drawer marked to have certain things, but they don't necessarily have those items in stock. So when I've had little projects where I need little switches or mini phone plug jacks and things like that, I'd go there and buy them, or phone splice connectors and things like that I needed. But
Yeah, man, they still
Amazon-
sell LEDs and batteries and all that stuff.
Amazon,
So
do you remember Lafayette?
yeah,
Lafayette Radio Electronics. I don't know
Right.
that they were down in the South. But
Andrew.
they were
So
big in New York. That was the place to go.
Andrew, so where did you go to get caps? If they had nothing at Radio Shack, where did you go in your area? Andrew says that he needed caps and went there first. Nothing.
Yeah, the order. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's
Yeah,
the same thing
I
with
haven't
everything
been
now.
in a Radio Shack for years.
Well, the other thing is they may have same day stuff, but it's like they sell these
Yeah, he said,
RCA to quarter-inch adapters. They're like $5 per pack of two.
who?
You go on the Radio Shack. You go on Amazon. They're like $1.50.
Yeah, well, she wanted it right away because she
No,
was.
no, I understand that, but there are things where I haven't need something right away, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Radio Shack has it. Well, and then Amazon's got it cheaper, so they've got me.
Well, BNC adapter. When you say adapter, Andrew, are you talking about the connector to put at the end of the cable, or an adapter to go from BNC to something else? Because the connectors you can find in a lot of places. I think even Home Depot now has
They've got a huge cable selection now.
yeah cable and connectors. But if you're talking about an adapter, like with what is called a Balun, to go from BNC to something else, yeah, these are highly specialized. BNC female to female. Oh, to hook two together. Okay.
Yeah, Home Depot is a really good source.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Home Depot has them.
Home Depot is a really good source for Cat 6 cables. Whenever I've been out of town going to a trade show and I'm short of something, you go to Best Buy, it's really expensive to buy a cable there. But you go to Home Depot, they had all different sizes, very reasonable prices for high quality cables, network cables. Lowe's, not so much. So,
And let's see what else before the specials. And I know we have. Oh,
What?
let me see. My phone is ringing.
I'll be right back. I'll have a cup of coffee calling me.
Okay.
Right back.
It's sad to think that Radio Shack might be going down, because that's who I worked for 10 years in the UK in the 90s.
I just don't. I mean, they're not competing with they. It's not that they aren't competing; they can't compete.
No, it's impossible for them to do so. Like so many other specialist retailers, you can't compete with online. It's impossible.
Exactly. And especially with them, it's, the stuff they're selling, buy on, eBay for 3 or 4 cents a component, and you go to Radio Shack and it's, $2.
You know, the only useful thing is if you need it there and then.
Yeah.
You've got a Radio Shack, you can go there and get it. If you're prepared and you're able to wait 1 or 2 days, then fine, you get it to half the price delivered. Shame, but still.
For sure. Come on, Jesus.
Okay. Let's see what else. Nick, we were talking in the Hangouts about the ASUS wireless routers.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're really nice. I mean, and Brian was showing all the features and everything. I came across an article though that says that a currently unpatched bug. This is from the beginning of last week, so it may have been patched by now.
Well, hold on. We should probably clarify that before we go through the article and talk about it.
Okay.
It's what, the Asus network bug?
It doesn't say which. Yeah, it doesn't say which one. It says that it's been discovered whereby users inside a network can gain full administrative control, not from outside, from inside the network. According to recent research conducted by authority firm Accuvent. Although the flaw does not allow access to external hackers, anyone within the network can take administrative control and reroute users to malicious websites, as well as holding the ability to install malicious software. The vulnerability stemmed from a poorly coded service, InfoSVR, which is used by ASUS to facilitate router configuration by automatically monitoring the local area network and identifying other connected routers. InfoSVR runs with root privileges and contains an unauthenticated command execution vulnerability, in turn permitting anyone connected to the LAN to gain control by sending a user datagram protocol, UDP, package to the router. Now, granted, this may be great in a lab situation, but routers like that who inside the network is going to do that? The chances of somebody inside the network who is already on the network as an authorized user to do this, not so much. But it's interesting to know. And I mean, like I said, it may have been patched since.
I didn't see anything when I looked.
Okay. I think it was about 2 weeks ago they were talking about it, but then I ran through it again. I said, okay, well now that may have something to it. So people just need to be aware. And these routers are unbelievable as far as options and configurations and what you can do with them. Really, really nice. Of course, if you are just wanting to have Wi-Fi at home and or just a router, then you don't need $100 router like that. Or how much was it? 136. the one that Brian was showing us?
What brand was that you were talking about?
It's an Asus. Asus.
Yeah, you need to have a specialized environment and requirements for potentially dual streaming across two different frequencies and
yeah.
all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very nice. I mean, the capabilities of this router are unbelievable, but not everybody needs it.
And you have to have the appropriate card, adapter card in your laptop or
To go,
PC to take
yeah.
advantage of that too.
Yeah.
So if you have a need to stream multiple HD videos in your house at the same time, then you need one of these routers. But you're going to spend a bunch of money.
Right.
But they do overcome a lot of issues with distance and coverage in a house because of the technology they use. But it's expensive. It would be cheaper to put a second router in if you have the available wiring than it would be to buy one of these really $200 routers that do all this stuff.
Well, we did not have good internet reception. It would keep on dropping at the other side of the house in the bedroom, in our bedroom. And Kathy would like to use her tablet, and when she was sick last week, she wanted to lay in bed and use it. Nothing. So I know that we got Hannah one of those TP-Link Ethernet over power, and because she had the same problem and ran up her data at one side of the house, not realizing that was the problem. So I got one. I got on Amazon, and it is unbelievable. So I put it sort of like not in the bedroom, but in the room closer to the bedroom, and it works. It works great, and it's like $53. Had a problem configuring it, and turns out, and I still don't understand why, how, and where. I think we talked about it, Mike. I mean, Spence, when I had it on the bench, hooked to two outlets, it was working okay. But when I left one outlet, the base on the bench, and plugged the other side in the wall, they wouldn't see each other. You're muted, Spence. You're muted. Spence, you're muted. Spence.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
That's
Talking
all right.
to myself. But yeah, it's got to do with the way the electrical is designed in the United States, where if you have 220 volt service, which most people have coming into their homes, it's two 120 volt legs,
Right.
they call them, that come in. And so when you look at your circuit breaker panel, you've got one half of your panel fed from one of those 120s and one from the other, and then they're combined to give you 240. But if the signal goes on the hot lead and on the
Ground.
neutral, the neutrals are the
Neutral.
same. They're shared in the house, but the hot leads are not. So you're transmitting on one, and you have to have a, in the case of no signal at all, you need a bridge that goes between the two.
And you said you had a bridge?
I do. I have an X10 bridge. Excuse me. I have an X10 bridge.
Yeah, plugging the base to. I mean, actually, it's plugged right here under the counter to another outlet. Just happened to be on the same leg, so it works. It works just fine. It's just that it
Yep.
needed to be around a switch where I can plug Ethernet into it, because you have to actually plug Ethernet into it, wired
Yes.
to the base of it, and then it
Yep.
goes out. So
I had to do the same in my house, because to connect from my office to where my router is down to the television, I couldn't plug it in here and have it connect to the TV, even though they were right above each other. One was right above the other. But I had to put this in another room in the house that's fed. It's on the same Ethernet, but it feeds to a different side of my wiring in the house.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I spent probably an hour or maybe more with support of TP-Link, and got to give them credit. I mean, this was about 9:30 in the evening, and yes, it wasn't a stateside support, but the lady took her time. She knew her stuff, and she was telling me what to do and all that. But not one time did she mention the fact that it could be on two separate legs. And so that bridge that you're talking about, is this something that was available or is still available? I mean, is it just
The
an
bridge?
X10 thing?
The bridge. I'm not sure that the X10 bridges the right frequency to support this. It didn't work for me. It
Oh.
works for X10,
Okay.
but it did not work for the.
Yeah, and you cannot
Ethernet.
actually take a wire and go from one hut to the other either.
You could run an extension cord
From?
from plug it into one outlet and put
No, okay, you didn't.
put a
You didn't.
male end on the other and then plug it in another place,
Yeah,
and then you'll have it. Then it'll work. I wouldn't recommend it though.
but it's. I mean, as long as you have it in, it doesn't have to be at the right. I mean, at the same room that you are, so you can go from room to room. But I guess that's the same situation with any Ethernet over power adapters, not just with this. I mean, there were some that were just like to plug in, and they would have. See how Spence just poof disappeared.
Because I'm eating yogurt, and I didn't want you to see me eating yogurt.
There's a bunch of different Ethernet over power adapters, and not all of them are for wireless. Some of them are for wired, and I would think that they will all mess up. The X10 that we had years and years ago had no problem with that, but it may be that just because everything that was plugged in was talking only to one base, because everything else was wireless. So
My
it was-
X10,
Hey,
when I
Bruce.
first got it years ago, it worked okay. It was flaky. There were parts of the house where the devices weren't reliable.
Uh-huh.
It would work one time and not work another time. So that's what made me put the bridge in. And after I put the bridge in, it fixed the problem. So it would work in any outlet.
Jason, which Ethernet over power thingies do you have? Which ones are you using? It's interesting to know. And
D-Link.
which one?
D-Link.
Yeah.
Or is it Netgear?
No,
Okay.
it's
I've installed Netgear, I've installed D-Link, I've installed TP-Link, I've installed one other brand. It was like a knockoff brand.
uh-huh.
I think it was from Tiger Direct.
Oh, it's a Netgear. Okay.
Yeah, the one I have in my house is Netgear.
Ethernet over coax. Well, that's interesting.
That's called ThickNet.
ThickNet.
Remember that, Amnon,
Yeah.
with the original Ethernet
Yeah.
over the
Coax.
fat cable with vampire taps,
Yep, I think I still have some here.
and you had to run it only certain distance between taps. There was
Yep.
a marking on the cable,
Mm-hmm.
and you actually put a vampire tap that connected onto the cable and put a little needle through to the center conductor, and
Yeah.
that's how you actually pulled the signal off of the cable. Then they came out with ThinNet, which was just a thinner cable, like a RG59, 62 type cable, not the same. and that had BNC connectors on it. I remember troubleshooting a network problem one time when the network would just go up and down, up and down, up and down. It was random. It didn't have any specific time, didn't know what was going on, couldn't figure out why it would stop working. We just kept going back, couldn't find a problem. It would work, it would not, just didn't know what was going on. Finally figured out that there was a guy sitting, he was a tech, but he was not a network tech. He was a telephone tech, sitting in one of the telephone closets, and Alan brings up a great point. This is what the problem was. The cable came into that room and was ended, and it had a terminator on the end, which is a resistor.
Right.
And he kept unplugging it and plugging in the terminator, just as he was talking on the phone, just for something to do, like flip a switch on and off just to play with it. He didn't realize he was taking the network down until somebody walked by and saw him doing it. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. Well, do you realize you're actually taking the network time every time you disconnect that thing?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
That was fun.
Bruce, I just noticed that Bruce said something about none of the streams are available here currently. But I wonder if the next thing he says that back now the streams are there. That's interesting. All right. Spence, are you ready for the specials? I don't want to
I'm
run
ready.
you later afterwards.
No, I got to leave it at 11, so that's fine.
Okay.
Actually, I'm ready for it.
Go for it.
All right. Today, January 18th, 2015.
And it's already posted.
Yes. Yeah, and I downloaded it from that site. And I recommend that you view it with Acrobat Reader, not with some of these built-in utilities, because the resolution will not be there. For example, if you use Windows 8 and use the built-in viewer, PDF viewer, the resolution will not be there. And some of the stuff that I pull from the web pages is already lost some resolution from the cut and paste. So, okay. So starting with Office Depot, Office Max, we've got a HP OfficeJet Pro 8610 on sale for $129.99. It's $70 off. It's a printer, scanner, fax, copier, and also comes with a $30 gift card. So really, you're getting $100 off if you use that gift card. Canon Pixma 922 wireless printer, scanner, fax, copier for $99. Save $100, 50% off. They've got a HP TouchSmart 15.6-inch laptop. This comes with an i3 processor, 4 gig of memory, $379.99, $170 off the regular price. We've got PNY Attaché USB 2.0 flash drive, 16 gig for $899, 32 gig for $16.99, and 64 gig for $29.99. Amnon, who'd have thought years ago that you would get 64 gig of memory for $30?
I still remember in one of the shows, in one of the earlier shows, we were talking about that they're going to come up with a 64 gig, and it was something like $6,000 or something like that, and we were talking about it.
And it was like,
that's
who
years
would
and
ever
years
need
ago.
that?
Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing. So good prices. It continue to be good prices on USB memory, although sounds like system memory is not so cheap anymore. HP Envy 7640. This is the high end of the consumer version of this printer. The Envy is very highly rated. I actually have a 5660, which I'm happy with. Wireless print scan copy, $149.99, save $50. PNY Turbo USB 3.0 memory stick, 32 gig for $19.99. 16 gig for $12.99, 64 gig for $39.99. Lexar and SanDisk SDHC and micro SDHC cards, 32 gig is $19.99, 16 gig for $12.99, and 64 gig for $39.99. Now 64 for a Class 10 card 64 gig class 10 for $39.99 at a store is a good price, because I know the cheapest I found it on Amazon with free shipping was like $37. So that's a good price. It says it's 60 off retail. It's usually 99 bucks. So that's a good deal. We've got a Lenovo Flex 2 laptop computer touchscreen that comes with an i5 processor for $579.99, save $170. Got an AMD quad-core A4 HP desktop computer for $299.99.
So now the A4 is inferior to the A6. Am I right?
A4 is what?
Inferior. I mean, slower, less power, whatever.
Well, it's like the equivalent of an i3.
I mean, they have A4, A6, A8.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
A4,
that
A6, and they go up to the A8. And I think the FX processor, their high end, is actually an 8-core.
Okay, so what Nick found this week, that we was talking about, that A6.
A6 is a physical 4-core processor.
Right.
Some of them are
for the same price. That's a better deal.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to understand.
So
okay,
this is
go
an
ahead.
HP desktop for $299. That's $30 off. Acer 23-inch LED monitor for $119.99, save $50. Logitech wireless touch keyboard K400. This is the one with the built-in touchpad, great for multimedia. $29.99, save $10. We've got, for you gamers out there, the Logitech G602 wireless gaming mouse, $59.99, save $20. The Logitech G105 gaming keyboard for $39.99, save $20. We've got a Toshiba A6. Well, actually, after hearing about the machine that Nick found, this might not be such a good deal anymore. Although it does have 8 gig of memory. It's a 17.3-inch Toshiba A6, 750 gig hard drive for $399.99, save $150. And we've got a Brother compact laser. This is a wireless printer copy fax machine, very convenient. I have the wired version of this in my office. Cheap because it runs on laser cartridges. $149.99, save $50. We've got Western Digital MyBook 3 terabyte USB hard drive for $119. Save $10. The 4 terabyte version is $139.99, save $30. 6 terabytes now available. $249.99, save $30. I think the difference between 4 and 6 is $110. I believe that's a premium I wouldn't pay. I'd buy 2 4s.
Yeah.
Before I'd spend that much on 1 6. Plus, how good can a single form factor drive at 6 terabytes be? How reliable could it be? Amnon, do you remember what Parham used to say about hard drives?
No.
When he worked for FedEx as a delivery guy, and he did a lot of the returns to,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was Lenovo or some other place locally, and they could tell how good a drive was based on how many returns they processed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You could see, it wasn't scientific, but you could actually see trends.
Yeah.
That, all those 1 terabyte drives are all coming back because they weren't perfected yet. But I digress. All right. We've got a Western Digital 1 terabyte portable hard drive, $69.99, saved $20. 2 terabytes for $99.99, saved $40. And finally, we've got a Duracell 4,000 milliamp portable power bank. This is for charging any USB connected device. $17.49, 50% off. That's all at Office Depot.
I'm
Office
assuming
Max.
that's a rechargeable thing.
It's rechargeable. Yes, yeah, it's rechargeable. Quite handy. I think I have like a 2,200 milliamp one.
Yeah.
And it's saved my butt several times in Alaska when I was in remote areas where my phone would run down. I couldn't really turn it on and off when I was driving to know if I was in an area where it would drain quick. So having that thing saved me a few times when my battery was low. All right, Staples. It's tax season again, so TurboTax is out there. It's on sale. Deluxe with state $49.99, save 10. TurboTax Premium, I don't know what exactly that buys for you, but it's $74.99, which is $15 off the regular price. Lexar USB flash drive, 16 gig for $7.99, 32 gig for $12.99, 8 gig for $5.99. I'm sorry, 64 gig for $34.99. Actually, that's cheaper than the other one was for USB 2.0. APC 600 VA battery backup, $54.99, save $20. 700 VA is on sale for $79.99, save $20. D-Link DCS 5020L pan and tilt daylight night network camera. I actually have this one, and it works quite well. I got it at Sam's Club in a bundle with a cloud router, which I have yet to use. But it actually is pretty handy. It has a app for Amazon and for iOS, and lets you control it. You can save presets, set it up. You have to set it up using Ethernet connection, but then you hand it off to the wireless, and it just works. And you set up a cloud account with D-Link. $89.99, save $30. Western Digital, my Passport portable hard drives, same price as the other ones on the other retailer. 1 terabyte, $69.99. 2 terabytes for $99.99. Toshiba i3 Intel laptop, 15.6 inch for $349.99 after rebate. Got a Dell i5 15.6 inch laptop for $549.99. That's got 8 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive. Epson Expression Premium X620 wireless small-in-one printer. Printer, scanner, fax, copier. $99, save $50. We've got several monitors on sale. HP 20-inch widescreen LED for $99, save $20. AOC 21.5-inch LED for $119.99, save $30. And an Acer 24-inch LED widescreen monitor for $139.99, save $30. I remember when the price of anything over like 22 inches was just $200-something. So prices of monitors have really dropped. OfficeJet 8610, wireless all-in-one inkjet printer for $129.99, save $70 plus a $30 bonus savings. I don't know what that's for. It doesn't actually say that here, what the bonus savings is. Maybe it's a gift card. Toshiba i3 Windows 8.1 laptop, 15.6 inch for $299 after rebate, save $200. A Toshiba i7 laptop. This is a 15.6 inch machine. It's got 12 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive, $649.99, save $250 after an easy rebate. And if you still want to get Windows 7 on a machine, you can get this Asus desktop PC with a Core i5, 8 gig of RAM, $599.99, save $50.
That's a good deal.
Think so on a i5?
Yep.
Yep.
Especially with Windows 7.
Yes, with Windows 7. That is more expensive to buy.
Yeah.
Either the upgrade or the full version of it anywhere. I think it's the cheapest legal one I've seen was about $129 for that install. The OEM system builder Windows Pro. Okay, closing out staples. We've got Brother monochrome laser printer. This is just a USB desktop printer for $79.99. Save $40. Excuse me.
It's all right.
They've got a Brother MFC wireless all-in-one laser. This has got duplex printing as well as wireless. $149.99, save $50. And HP OfficeJet 100 mobile printer. These are popular still with people who travel a lot. If you're a real estate agent, a contractor who needs to print something off while you're out on the road, $199.99, save $80. And that's all at Staples. At Best Buy, We've got battery backup, USB-enabled battery backups. These are the ones the kind I have. $9.99, save $10. These are handy little devices.
Very handy.
Good to have one. Toshiba satellite laptop, 15.6-inch AMD A8 for $329.99. They've got a HP 15.6-inch touchscreen Intel Core i3 for $379.99. Hip Street 10-inch 16-gig laptop. I'm sorry, not laptop. Tablet, Android tablet for $99.99. That's $50 off. They've got the Acer Iconia 8-inch tablet. It's got an Intel processor. It's also a Android operating system for $119.99, save $20. They've got a Canon Pixma wireless all-in-one printer for $89.99, save $60. They've got this tablet designed for kids, and this has specific restrictions on it. You can set it up for allowing social media, but it's restricted to who they can send social media to and who they receive it from. This opens up a debate, and that's why I included the next picture next to it there, although this isn't a product that's on sale. This is the lengths that people will go to. I saw this on a website that they actually have an iPad holder that's built into a potty for kids. So I think you're basically abandoning the development of your child to other people if you do something like this. I'm sorry. But the tablet's $129, save $70. Could be a good choice. Not having raised my kids in the handheld device generation or time period, I can't really comment.
Right.
I don't know how good an idea it is to have these devices available to small children. I have seen, unfortunately, children that aren't even walking yet playing with their parents' iPhones while they're chatting up other people in a bar.
Mm.
You got the kid with them in a stroller, and the kid's playing a game or looking at something on the iPhone while the parents are drinking. So I'm not sure about this stuff. Logitech MK320 wireless keyboard and mouse, $24.99, save $15. HP Pavilion desktop with an AMD A8 processor for $449.99, save $80. This would be a competitor to that i5 desktop we saw earlier. HP 20-inch widescreen monitor for $89.99, save $30. 23-inch HP LED monitor for $149.99, save $80. Seagate backup 1 terabyte drive, similar to the Western Digital as in price and size, $69.99, save $10. Western Digital 2 terabyte small form factor USB 3.0 portable hard drive, $99.99, save $50. That's actually a pretty good deal. Western Digital 4 terabyte external USB hard drive, $139, save $50. Now this is a good battery backup for people who have a larger system with more things besides a single tower that you want to keep up in the event of a power outage. This is a 1080 VA UPS, $119.99.
Would
That's
that be
$30.
something like
That's a good deal.
700 or 800 watts?
Yes, that's a good deal. I wouldn't say you can still run your laser printer on it,
No.
but Brother basic black and white laser printer USB connected for $59.99, save $60. And if you want to upgrade to wireless as well as two-sided duplex printing, you
The
can
only
get
problem
that
with
printer
these,
Go ahead.
the only problem with these black and white lasers is the white cartridge is very expensive.
The white ones, yes, they're hard to find. Don't say that. You'll have people out there looking for them. 109, save $40. So that's a good deal on these Brother lasers. These are great machines. The HP low-end office jet, not office jet, but laser jets, also good machines. But Brother and what's the other laser brand out there? Is it Canon that makes a low-end laser? Good printers.
Brother, Samsung.
Samsung, that's the one I was thinking of. That was comparable to the Brother as far as a low-cost USB connected.
Yeah. Or
laser.
wireless, yeah.
Yeah, they do have wireless, and it's not much more to get wireless.
Right.
Well, that was it for CompUSA, and I did have time and checked out some stuff at Tiger Direct. So they do have 20-inch LED monitor for $89.99. That's an Acer monitor. 24-inch HP LED monitor. This is a good deal. $149.99, and it's got HDMI, DVI, and VGA connectability to it. Nice monitor. LG internal DVD burner, $19.99. Now, when they say save $20, they're talking about list prices. So I'm really not going to mention what the list prices are because they're not really sales. But here's an example of the price. What's happening with prices for memory. DDR3 desktop memory, 8 gig for $84.99. Well, it's not bad, but it's not great either. 16 gig for $154.99. DDR3 laptop memory, 8 gig for $69.99. 16 gig for $149.99. Hey, it used to be that the laptop memory was more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Ultra power supplies, PC power supplies, desktop tower power supplies. These are good deals on 650 and 750 watt power supplies. That's more than you would ever need unless you're into serious gaming. But the 650 watt, $29.99 after rebate. 750 watt, $39.99 after rebate. This has got to be the cheapest printer out there today that I've seen. Canon Pixma MG2520 for $34.99. And they've got a LaserJet Pro HP mono laser for $99.99. They've got a HP i7 desktop. Now this can be loaded with either Windows 7 or Windows 8. Comes with both licenses. $749.99. It's a good deal. And if you want to build your own high-end AMD machine, the FX processor is their high-end. It's an 8-core processor. You can buy a processor and motherboard bundle for $259.99. Saves $64 over the individual prices. Lexar USB thumb drives, 16 gig for $8.99, 32 gig for $13.99, 64 gig for $25.99. Class 10 micro SD cards, 16 gig for $7.99, 32 gig for $49.99. Now this is a deal. $29.99 for a 64 gig micro SD card. That is a great price.
And that's
and finally, a couple of I had to throw these just techie toys in there, things that people might be interested in. It's not necessarily computer related, but prices of LED bulbs has really started to come down to the point where it's competing with, or in some cases, cheaper than buying fluorescents or compact fluorescents, depending on how you buy them. So they do have some good deals on 7 watt and 10 watt. These are the 40 and 60 watt equivalent bulbs in both dimmable and non-dimmable versions. And LEDs, when you dim them, my experience, the ones I have, the 60 watt equivalents on the dimmer, they don't go quite as dim as an incandescent bulb would go, but they do actually dim, and they dim smoothly. If you dim a compact fluorescent, it'll say dimmable, but the results are not always so great.
Right.
So you might get some flickering. And finally, Amnon, this is for you. This is the DJI Phantom 2 drone. 25-minute flight time. Only $5.99.
$600, right?
And it's got a tilt camera. So, hey, I'd love to play with one of these.
Yeah, to play with is one thing.
Yeah, but to have it hovering over your neighbor's window.
Nah, to pay for it is the other thing.
Yeah.
They're ideal for checking if you're going bold or not.
I'm not sure what's happening in the UK, Steve, but there have been a lot of incidents here where, like, a plane recently had to divert on landing in New York because of a drone flying over the runway.
Oh, wow.
So this is some serious stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of places that are complaining about stuff like that.
and there have been some funny videos online where it shows like a photographer using a drone to film a couple after they get married, standing on the, with the cliff in the background and the ocean and all that stuff, and the drone is flying in, it flies right into the groom's head. So stuff isn't perfect.
Spence, Dr. John is asking, do you need a special dimmer to dim an LED bulb?
No, a standard dimmer. Oh, I take that back. I would say look at the label on the dimmer in the package. They will say if they support LEDs, because there is an issue with the power supplies.
But what happens when you have a dimmer and a light in the middle of the room and you just want to replace the light bulb? I mean, what are you going to, are you risking anything if that dimmer has been there for a couple of years and you're putting an LED?
What you're risking is that the performance, I don't think it's a safety thing. I think it's just that the performance of the bulb is going to be bad. I've put regular fluorescence in a dimmer, knowing that it's not a dimmable fluorescent, and when you turn it down, it just starts to flash, starts to strobe.
Okay.
And then, but it's got to do with power supplies and LEDs, because they don't, the way they start, dimmer, like an incandescent bulb dimmer, an old-fashioned dimmer, is looking for resistance, a much higher resistance or power draw, like a 60-watt bulb. The difference between a 60-watt and a 14-watt draw might be enough that would throw the dimmer off.
But wait a second. Well, wait a second. A dimmer is a dimmer is a dimmer. All it does is it cuts back on power.
Yes, but the starting voltage, it has to have a there's a minimum that the dimmer itself will work at.
Okay.
Remember how when they came out with LED bulbs for cars, they came out with these. Oh, they're out now. They're pretty. You can buy them. The problem with them is that you have to put in a special device, because the switch technology in the car, or the directional relay in the car that works your signals, that expects to see a certain amount of wattage being drawn for that to work. And if there's not enough wattage there, it won't work. It's like when a bulb blows out in your car, in your direction, when you turn it on, it blinks faster, because it can tell that there's not as much power being drawn. The same issue is true with LEDs. There's not enough power for the signaling device to work properly, so you have to add electronics to it. I did that with on motorcycles when I replaced the bulbs, the incandescent bulbs, with LED bulbs. You have to put in an intervening device. So you need to look at your dimmers. It is advisable to replace them if they're 10 years or older, because they're not set up to work with LEDs.
If you're talking about starting voltage, I mean, you can always go into the room and put it all the way up and then dim it down.
Turn it down, right. Well, I guess it depends on the quality of the dimmer, and you may, you could damage the power supply on the LED or the compact fluorescent if it's not designed to work with a dimmer.
Right, yeah. If it's not designed to be dimmable, of course you will.
Now, I just purchased some new dimmers on a job I was working on. These are not the dial ones are still out there, the ones with the knob. These were the toggle dimmers. Actually very nice looking ones. And the simple one, a single pole regular switch, was $9.99, and it supported compact fluorescence and LEDs. And the more expensive kind, the three-way one, that's where you have more than one switch, that was only $14. So they really are reasonable. You can get into some really expensive ones with glide screens and all kinds of fancy designer versions of them, but a simple dimmer, even one with a lighted toggle, is very reasonable.
Hey, Steve, are LEDs making any
progress in
Europe and in England? And
they are getting a lot more popular, but they're very expensive still. They're still about sort of £6 a bulb. which is in comparison to incandescents or CFLs, is still very expensive over here. On a lot of new builds and new buildings going in and people that have renovations done, they seem to be putting LEDs in, but a standard replacement LED bulb is still very expensive over here.
So how much is the bulb? Do you know?
It's about £6, I think, for the cheapest I've seen, which is a lot for just one bulb.
Well, I
So
mean,
that's about $10, 10 US.
Yeah, about that.
that's
They're
I
still
mean,
about average price here is about that.
yeah.
Which
Actually,
is a lot when you take into account what the incandescents used to be. You used to be able to get a pack of 3 for
right.
£1.
Yeah, they're
Um,
nowhere near the price of incandescent. But
No,
yeah, but if
but
you
the CFLs, even those when they first came out, they were subsidized and they
yeah,
were very cheap. But even now, they're quite expensive for CFLs.
um, I like the CFLs
I've
for
got one.
desk lamp.
Yeah, I've got one LED light which I use as a it's got a clip on it and it clips to the headboard.
Hmm.
So if I want to if I'm in awake at night and I want to read, then I can just put that on. It's only 1 watt LED, but it's surprisingly bright for even 1 watt, and it's just enough for a bedroom just to read over your shoulder.
Yeah. I
That's the only LED light I've got.
I had a CFL on my desk probably from back in 98, 99. That, I mean, they never had a problem with it. And finally, it burned out about 2 years ago. So I replaced it with another one. And about 2 months later, poof. And replaced it again, and poof. And every time it's because it's upside down.
Yeah, if you burn it base up, it
Yeah.
doesn't last as long.
So now, here's what I did now, and I tried it, and so far, and it's about 3 months, and it's working great. I took the fixture has slots at the very top of the what do you call it, the shade for heat to come out of. I took a little fan from an old 486 heatsink and I actually put a tie wrap right against those openings on the shade and connected it to a 12-volt power supply and it works. I mean, I can before I remember putting my hand on the top to move the light and it was so hot. I mean, you have to kind of let go of it and grab it on the rim. Now it's cool. And I'll take out the bulb and look at it and the base is still white as it was. So apparently, and I've got it actually, yeah, I've got it exhausting, pulling out. I mean, sure, not everybody's going to do it, but it works. It keeps it going. So we'll see after a few months more if it works. Uh, yeah, but Brent, on the desk, it's fine because it stays on day and night. I do like to put a CFL in our bathroom where I would wake up at night and go to the bathroom or get up and go to shave because of that reason that they take so long to warm. Because you go and you turn on the light from total darkness and it's bright and it's kind of shocking. Over here, it comes out slowly, you don't feel it. And that's sort of like it's a byproduct side effect that's actually, hey, I like that. But again, the problem is like when it's in a bathroom or somewhere, it's enclosed in the uh, shade in the fixture, and the heat buildup. The heat is the thing that is bad about those CFLs. And any of you that is familiar with fluorescent lights, I mean, you go and put your hand in the middle there where the ballast is on a regular fluorescent light, and see how hot it is. Or better yet, when you change one of them, take a look at the ballast. It is burnt. It's a lot of heat going in there. There's a good reason why the fixture itself is made out of metal. It's almost dangerous, but it's not because it's in the box. But yeah, nothing compares to LEDs. It's really nice. On the counter, I have an LED floodlight, and that works great. What are we looking at, Spence?
Everybody wonders where CFL bulbs came from.
So that's how it started.
That's how it started. Yeah.
Okay.
I still have up in my attic when compact fluorescents first came out. They weren't the spiral ones; they were just a straight tube.
Yeah. Well, it was.
And I still have.
It was like a U.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
still have 3 bulbs up in the attic. Of course, it doesn't get used that much,
Right.
but they're still in service after it's got to be over 15 years.
Yeah. If you turn them on and off, especially if they're not on a lot, they would last and last and last, just like fluorescent. I'm sure, just like fluorescent, they also lose intensity. We don't notice it when you have fluorescent because it's a slow. They lose it slowly, but then when you put new bulbs in there after 10 years, I say, "Wow, look at the light in here."
So Brent brings up a good point. If you buy your kid a easy bake oven, don't get him an LED bulb.
No, because then
It
they would
won't
really
work.
bake stuff in there.
Oh well. All right, it's 11 o'clock. I have
All right.
to
Yeah,
skedaddle.
it's time. It's time to end. Anyway, so thanks, Spence. It was great. Steve, anything you wanted to add?
Not really. Just be nice to yourself and to everybody else.
Yep. Always. That's always a good rule.
Absolutely.
Yep. Where's Nick?
He
Nicholas.
came back and then nipped off again.
He Yep, it's okay. I mean, he's busy and it's great. I mean, he's keeping himself busy and out of trouble.
That's not an easy thing to do.
Yep. It's good. It's good. It's positive any way you look at it. All right.
Well, I hope Mike's okay. Sorry. he didn't turn up
I'm going to
today.
call after the show and see, since his
Okay.
wife was here and she didn't say anything.
No, it's all a big secret. Hope he's okay anyway. Thanks, Spence. Thanks, Amnon and Nick and
Give me-
everybody in the chat room. We'll catch you next week, hopefully.
All right. Take care, Steve. See ya.
Bye for now.
Spence,
So long,
thanks
Steve.
again. I'll talk to you sometime this week.
Okay, absolutely.
All right. And
See ya.
What?
See ya.
See ya. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us here at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now we moved. Oh, there's Nick. Nick, did you want to add something?
No.
Okay. Thank you. We moved the your healthy pet and you from Friday evening to Sunday at 2:00. So at 2:00 this afternoon, we will have your healthy pet. Tune in. Tips about talking about pets and about how to take care of them in a not just in a homeopathy, but mainly with homeopathy. And then tonight at 8:00, it's the Tanya Love Show. We'll see you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.